Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
What is happening, guys? You're tuned into 3 Music TV right now, and I am your host for today, Kojo Trip, on the Culture Daily Show. Okay, today is an exciting episode. Today is an exciting one. I can tell you guys how much I am excited to be in this seat today, for the big conversation. I have a very special guest in here, okay, and I've been looking forward to this conversation. I mean, I've been in other conversations with him. I've been in certain situations with him as well, but today's one is a special one, something that I'm probably going to be talking about for a really long time, okay? So if you're aware, on the 13th of March 2025, an album dropped at exactly 12 a.m. Okay, 12 a.m. It was a Thursday. I was up, and then I went on Twitter, I went on X, and then I saw people talking about, the album has dropped, I mean, I knew it was going to drop, but I was on there waiting to see people's reactions, and then I just dove into it, right? Now, this new album I'm talking about is an exciting one. I'm going to tell you right here and right now that if you haven't heard it yet, you definitely need to go and listen to that new one. New Roads and, I beg your pardon, New Roads and Guava Trees. I beg your pardon. New Roads and Guava Trees. I don't know why I said Grace, but the man is in the building. The legend himself, the God MC, M.T. is in the building. I call him my godfather, for a number of reasons, and even though I never go out, but he's in the building with me today. I'm excited. You're welcome. M.anifest, M. It's exciting to see you. I've been looking forward to seeing you, in the studio. Sorry, your mic wasn't on.
Oh, my mic wasn't on.
Yeah, it's on, but it's on now. It's on now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mic check 1, 2.
Yes.
New Road Guava Trees. Festo.
Exactly. It's exciting. It's exciting to have you in the building today. Like I said, I was waiting for the album to drop. I was looking forward. When I was told that I was going to get the opportunity to have a conversation with you, I was like, okay, that's amazing, So I'm excited to have you here. Now, the first thing, I just want to get straight into it. We're going to be peeling a lot back today from this new project. We'll take it back to God MC. We'll talk about school, your family life, and a few other things, But the first thing I want to talk about is I want to say is congratulations on the new album.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I
New Roads
appreciate
and
that.
Guava Trees. It just landed, and I've been listening to it all day. Now, I want to find out from you the very first thing is that the story behind the title. I get the Medina connection, because the New Roads and all of that, but I want you from the horse's own mouth to tell us, the story behind the title.
Yeah, I mean, there's the literal and there's the figurative meaning. So what is the most meaningful part of the title is the fact that I literally feel like I'm at a stage in my life where I'm taking a new road, and it's essential for me to take that new road. And the guava tree is just symbolic of just the idea of making a fruitful climb. Yeah. But both the guava tree and the new road also are provocations from my childhood, because I grew up in Medina New Road, in a house that had an infamous guava tree that I was very fond of. I was always chasing after the fruits. So so obviously that having a personal tinge to it, I think gave it gravitas for me. But really, it pronounced what the real meaning is the fact that, look, I've reached a point where I'm taking an exciting new road, both professionally and personally in life.
Yeah. I like that you touch on that, the fact that, it ties into your childhood and also the point that you're at in your career right now. So hinging on that, I want to find out from you. You're now signed to Mass Appeal, which is a NASA's label. How does this new project tie into you being at that point in your career right now, being with Mass Appeal, and then this new, direction that you're on.
You know, it's crazy because, you know, words are powerful. It's almost prophetic, a lot of the things I say, because I titled the album before I even was with Mass Appeal. So somehow I'm going to take a whole series of new roads with this album, and I think having a great partnership with Mass Appeal is one of those great new roads to take, where there's a great possibility that I'm going to make a reality of really having like a global outlook in terms of how the music is received.
Yeah.
So I think that's a wonderful opportunity. It's really insane. It's a perfect combination of culture and commerce for me, because they are about the culture.
Yeah.
And they have also been in the business.
Exactly.
So that's another, definitely a new road.
For a lot of us who, you know, follow your music and follow your career, and also are very in tune with, you know, people like Nas and the music out there, we were excited when we found out that you had joined Mass Appeal. I know that you're not the only Ghanaian that's on there. We also have what's his name, this German Ghanaian who's also on there. Ohene.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, I was tapped into his music right before I found out he also got signed to Mass Appeal. But we want to understand, like, for those of us who don't know what that situation is like, you know, you joining Mass Appeal. How did that even come about, you know?
There was an individual that knew both parties that's in the business who made the play, because knew that I was looking for a situation and knew that they were looking to branch out in really making that bring into fruition the idea of them being a global home for hip hop.
Yeah.
So they've made some great inroads in places like India. So it's time to do some motherland moves and other places, because clearly you mentioned somebody else who's also based in Germany.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I met him.
Yeah.
I met him in London, I believe. He was with Prince JC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. So, what was the question?
So I wanted to find out what that situation.
Oh,
was
yeah.
like.
Yeah. So, and how it happened. Yeah. So
Yeah.
somebody made the connection, and I think it just worked out, right, in that regard. So, I mean, without getting into nitty gritty details, I mean, it's just a perfect kind of. I mean, they're the ones putting out the record, and it's a perfect kind of home for it.
Yeah.
Home for it, and home for me, at least.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, the synergy is clear.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, the crazy thing is, I remember telling one of my friends, they were like, of course. I mean, it's crazy. Like, one had never thought of it.
Yeah.
But immediately he heard it. It was like, yo, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It does. It does. I mean, I think that looking at your music, the kind of music that you make, and the kind of person that you are, and musically speaking, for a lot of us, it wasn't a shock, you know, because it's like, it's Nas, it's M.anifest. You have gone across borders. You've claimed your king here. You've gone, you know, across borders. SA from the times of Double HP. You know, God rest his soul. You've Kenya. I remember Kamula. Listen, M-Dos, like, I tell you, if my friend is watching Loso, like, I heard you and Kamula when I was way back in Takoradi, like, after high school, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Honestly, bro. Like,
think you can handle this? Rapper / evangelist. I'm popular. I got a pot to piss on my girlfriend. Say, oh, man.
You have done your thing. You have done your thing. And I think that this is like, someone would say, at this point, now that you're, you know, signed to a label like Mass Appeal, and then you're doing your thing all over the place, okay, what next? But I feel like this is just a start for you, you know.
Yeah.
This is just the start.
It's a new road.
Exactly. But I want to find out, how do you feel as a person? Because I think that a lot of us regard you as the big bro, like, over here. You know, how do you feel that the position you're in right now trickles down or affects the rest of us who are kind of towing the similar line that you are on right now?
I've always been conscientious of sort of that, I guess, both a privilege and responsibility, because to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I do things like manifestivities. This is the same reason why I think it's important that my success is not just for me, but like you said, it trickles down.
Yeah.
Because if I am able to break ground both in the culture and business space, it shows the viability of folks who are like me, who are not necessarily sort of doing what everybody does.
Yeah.
Who also have a strong hip hop background, no matter whether they are mixing the hip hop with a palm wine or asop or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So so I take that. I don't take that lightly. Obviously, so that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I've always known that about trying to break new ground in a place like Ghana and Africa, is that a lot of roads that we take, and I know there's going to be a whole road conversation. A lot of roads that we take, more often than not, have never been taken.
Yeah.
This is a very new thing for a lot, for the entire continent.
Yeah.
So a lot of roads being taken have never been taken. So I don't take it for granted that those of us who get opportunities and get doors open should do more, so that more rooms in the house are open, and the house, if it was just one door open, we best that both doors open, etc. Yeah, and so that responsibility comes with like, yo, if you get position, it's like having Sele in a football team.
Yeah.
If you get Sele, if you're Kudus, you're coming from Nima, and you get Sele, show
Everybody
and prove,
knows,
because then that way it reflects on everybody
everyone
else,
else,
and then
yeah.
the scouts will start looking at, yo, man, we need to come to Medina, Ashama, and Nima
Exactly.
and see what I'm going with some of these players.
Exactly.
So that's how I see things. But I don't see it's not a burden, nor is it like any great responsibility that's beyond me. No, I have reached a great point of maturation in my life in which that just comes with the territory, and I accept that.
Yeah. Okay, now speaking of, I mean, you talking about the whole representation and citing the Kudus example, one thing that I realized while I was listening to the project was, or when I saw the cover art and the track list, the features. So I was thinking to myself last night, that you have people like Ara the J on there, you have Darko Vibes, you have Molly. These are all people who are also Ghanaian, who are from here. And this project is on mass appeals, like it's your first project with mass appeal. And now you've put these people on there, which means that they also get to reach the audience that you tap into that audience that you are tapped into or tapped in with right now. Now I want to find out from you what went into besides just wanting to have that representation, and also the talent, being able to see what they had to offer. Like, what went into you deciding that, I want to put this person on the project?
For me, that one is very creative and music driven. You understand? It's not this great calculation of like, let me take this box, tick that box. No, I really have to mess with the music, and it has to be in line with what I'm doing. So when I'm working on the Wine and Blues, I immediately hear Ara the J. I'd been in the studio with him years before. We have other records that haven't seen the light of day. Yeah. I know how he works. So for me, it's just about that. Bien was in Ghana, vibing, having the time of his life during Dirty December, which spilled over to January. And he was like, yo, I'd one night, started drinking, having fun. It's like, yo, bro, we need to go to the studio before I leave. I say, yeah, let's do it. You get me? So it's definitely organic. There's an intentionality behind it, in the sense of the fact that I don't try and fit square pegs in round holes and vice versa. So, it's very specific what the music is calling for and who the music is calling for, and I listen. I'm not disobedient in that regard. Yeah.
Okay. So I also there's something I wanted to ask before I asked you this, which has to do with your deal with mass appeal. If you wanted to at least get into like the nitty-gritty of it, like
no, not at all.
You wouldn't want to.
Everybody should mind their business. They should just pray for great success.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
Because I think that's most important is show working.
Yeah.
Right now it's not about talking about people it is, no, it's about showing working.
Yeah.
And that's where I am. I'm here, I'm doing all this. It's like show working.
And
our concerns about like doing dissect, we can do a post-mortem after like we kill the shit. We kill the game. after we kill it and whatever, then we can do a post-mortem. But before that, we shouldn't worry ourselves, our pretty heads too much with some of these details that have nothing to do with how successful the music are. It has everything to do with it in terms of the infrastructure, but it has nothing to do with it in terms of discussing it publicly. That's how I see it. I feel it's good for people to know that there's global capital that we can access. It's good to know that there's interest with globally reputable companies. Once you bring something of value. So those things I would definitely pronounce and say, but the nitty-gritty doesn't really matter. I just released the album. Like, it's time to do the work, not time to come and gloat over what. So that's the thing. Some of these things we need to stay focused. That's why there was never no big announcement, because it's about the work.
Because we just saw it.
It was never an announcement because it's about the work. And then they understand that, I understand that, so it's perfect synergy. Be talking. Look at the man who co-founded the label. He they talk. He just the do.
That's true.
Six
That's
albums
true.
in 2 years. That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now talking about just show working. You've been at this for quite a while. From '07 Immigrant Chronicles, Nowhere Cool, and even God MC. I think God MC is one of the. It was a moment, or it was a time that solidified your status in Ghana as for a lot of people. Like it's like we don't only we prioritize concept, we prioritize depth, and then like lyricism over just like rash stuff. Right now, new roads and guava trees. Like this is like you said, is a new road for you, is a new path for you. Now, where does that sit in your journey? Like where does that sit in your journey currently?
I mean, New Road and Guava Trees is a big beneficiary of everything that's led up to this moment. And that's a beautiful thing. It's like getting to the Champions League. You only get to the Champions League when you win the league.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's the greatest, is the beneficiary, is standing on the shoulders of all these other albums that I've done. And you clearly see the maturation, my ability, together with my collaborators, like especially Buddha, who produced the album with me, and the other producers, Mike, drummer, etc. The ability to execute is just gone on another level, which is beautiful. So, I mean, we've gone from just being raw, talented, and gifted to just having an intentionality, still being inspired, and being able to deliver. Yeah.
I think that you taking that into consideration, you come from a long line of that, and I'm going to take you back. I'm going to take it back to like your roots and the family roots. I just want to touch on that a little bit about your grandfather, J.H. Kobnan Ketia, and the fact that he's a lyricist, like one of the most prominent people in Ghana. Ethnomusicology.
Yes, rest is so.
High life roots and all of that, and you also have that, like you've displayed that over the years now, with your dexterity, how you're able to mix the Chi and the Pidgin and the English and still be as impeccable as you are. So I want to find out how much of this album is leaning into that heritage, because you come from that heritage, and is it a rebirth, or is it like a remix of sorts? Like
That's a brilliant question. You see, that's why you're a lyricist. Is it a rebirth or is it a remix?
Yeah.
Neither. It's more of a reroute. Since we're in the Reese. It's a reroute, because sometimes you do, you climb. So I think, the journey is not linear.
Yeah.
No, it's not linear, not in the horizontal sense or the vertical sense. People see it as, some people's analogy is climbing a mountain. No, it's a terrain filled with so many things. There's valleys, there's peaks, etc. So sometimes after you've climbed different mountains, you fall into different valleys, you are able to have an aerial view even when you're on ground. So that's where I am right now. I have a beautiful aerial view even when I'm on ground, and I'm able to navigate and say, let's pass here, because there's lava here.
Yeah.
And then there's a garden here.
Yeah.
So let's go to, let's take this road, let's reroute. Yeah. So that's where I am. It's beautiful. All those things lead up to the ability to create something like this, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. But how much of that heritage would you say feeds into your creativity?
Yeah, it's in my DNA. It's absolutely in my DNA, and I realized it in my young adult stages. I didn't realize it as a child. I didn't realize it as a teenager. I realized it, especially when I left Ghana, that some of these things that I taken for granted, having the proximity to it, definitely built a thing in my DNA. The idea that what we do is legitimate. You understand? What we do, whether it's and that new traditions are being formed every day.
Yeah.
So it's like we are part of the forming of new traditions. One day, 100 years from now, that's what some of what we do is what's going to be called tradition. The classics, It's not Beethoven. It's manifesto.
Festo for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So it's in my DNA. But so for my grandfather, African arts music. This is a different. I tackle popular music.
Yeah.
But in a worldly sense, being both hip hop and being comfortably hip hop and comfortably African music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly like that you say that, because I think that, and I like the fact that you mentioned posterity, like 100 years from now, because I think that our music is headed somewhere. Like Ghana is actually shining right now. We have a lot of our own acts, like homegrown acts, who are doing well outside. We have the Amaris, Black Sheriffs. I think RDJ is also doing amazing. Like and yourself, like for you, you're like we refer to you as God tier, like God tier
thank you.
and stuff like that. So, but New Roads and Guava Trees, and I think a lot of the conversation is going to be based on the album. I want it to be based on the album.
Good.
Yes,
Oh, good.
So
That's the only thing in my mind, actually. So I'm not complaining.
Then we're on course. Then we're right on course. So I want to find out from you, like, with where our sound is headed, where do you think that New Roads and Guava Trees like fits into, like, where does it fit into that direction? When
Fitting has never been my thing, and I've never tried to fit in. So I think that's part of it. I just try to expand. I try to expand what we have, So I'm all about the expansion, expanding what the zeitgeist is. It's not. I'm not definitely not trying to fit anywhere. So I might be paving a new road. That's why on the cover I'm a commissioner general, because that's what it's for me. It's more important to innovate than to try and fit in. So for me, this is herein lies a new path of what can be done. Right, and hopefully in a way in which you see that is extremely successful, and on many levels, creatively, culturally, and hopefully commercially as well.
Yes. I think that the project is musical. It's commercial in itself, in as much as, like, there's everything that you represent on there. It also touches on a lot of things. Now, speaking of not fitting in, I think that the album art is one of the best that I have seen, like, so far. I don't know where the inspiration, but if you'd like to tell us where the inspiration came from.
Yes, I work with a brilliant creative agency called Pepe Co. Two cats, Clarence and Emmanuel, of Ghanaian and Nigerian backgrounds, but they're in the Abuchi. But the first project we ever did together was the Gamble. They did that. They did the creative direction for that. So if you remember, that artwork was pretty dope.
Yeah, the Gamble with the dye. So the red dye. Was amazing.
With me in it. So they did that. So that's when we started, and they've done a lot of the creators for M.anifestivities as well. So we have this really great relationship in which, when I'm about to do something, kind of present them with I don't want to say a brief, with sort of
an idea,
a mood board, a proverbial mood board of this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going for, and then they'll kind of present to us my ideas. Let's go this way, let's go that way, and then I represent. No, here, yes, here, etc. So shout out to Pepe, but also, it also, for execution of these things, it takes also a very competent team. So my cousin Onassis and Apac Studios got on board to do the photography, to execute the cover. So shout out to everybody that was on the team for that as well. And then using relationships. Everybody on the cover, Charlie, we hollered at. I say, yo, Charlie Kumi, what's up? Tasia, what's up? You understand? Come through. Just like, people who could come and play that role of what we were presenting. This feels a little bit nowhere coolish, because I am not myself on the cover. I'm in character, which is cool sometimes, and to extract yourself. Everything doesn't have to be you. I could have just been on the cover, like,
just pose and then
but I love art, man. So we go through everything from color schemes, etc. I can show you how the process of these things, the cover, which color it was before, and I'm like, then how we will experiment, try this, what the initial mock-up was in terms of the guava under the road and how it evolves. It's just a beautiful thing. It's all part of the aesthetic and the creative art of it. And for me, it needs to be 360. So I'm always with it, whether it's production, whether it's songwriting, whether it's lyrics, whether it's the visuals, whether it's like just the flyness of everything,
And I think it's
so that's what we try to aim for.
Like, you seem very, I don't know if that's the right word, but like very Pan-African.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the right word. I mean, Pan-African in a very forward-looking way. You understand? It's not in an old way.
Yeah, futuristic.
Yeah. We take from the past to be able to create the future. So that's it. Yeah, there is always very black.
Yeah.
very black and African.
Yeah, and you do it with
You
a
know.
swagger too. Like,
Oh yeah, you need because the thing is cool. We are far gone from the days where everything European or mimicking European or white American standards is what is cool. That time, was it even a time like that? We passed that level. Right now it's like, yo, doing super fly things just as ourselves, taking ideas, like you see me in an agbada trying to commission a road like the way all our leaders do. We are referencing our reality, and it's fly. It's fly. It's fly for us first and foremost, and other people will
when they tap into it,
will understand. Yeah, what's this, and they'll love it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't love it, we love it.
Yeah. I was telling my producer that I actually wore these pants because I just wanted to match her energy. I told him. So I was told
you couldn't be bland.
No, I tell you, I was told that you might not become. I was like, okay, anyway, I might have to repeat it.
Yeah.
Because I wore it just so I know. Yeah, I know that.
I'm glad I pulled up the
type of time.
No. You see, look, anybody that's listening, especially the hip hop people amongst us. Your creativity can't just be limited to your lyrics.
Yeah.
It's got to be expansive. Yeah. It's got to be broad. How you want to present yourself, how you the things that interest you in life, the things you want to speak about.
Yeah.
It's like, Charlie, it's all part of it, part and parcel of it. You can't just be creative when you're making records.
It has to reflect.
You should open yourself up and be as authentic as possible. Flyness is an authenticity. To be honest, right?
Yeah.
It could be super nerdy, authentic. It could be super out there. It could be super weird vibes.
Yeah.
It could be super like just off kilter, or it could be something even super mainstream with just a tinge of like Ghana, Oh yeah, people are doing fly things. I see a Prince JC. Look at his art. He's doing something fly.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be like it's a Ghanaian artist making fly art, so it's not Ghanaian art. What is Ghanaian art? It's just like you do stuff that is reminiscent of things that maybe are here or off here. People are doing just incredible. So all that to say, back to my little long speech, is that we need to not limit our creativity just to the booth. Just feel
Art
expansive.
life,
that's actually one thing that low key or high key most rappers, especially of my generation and a little younger, admire the most about Nas. Nas was always one of the flyest rappers.
Yeah.
Like everything from aura to fashion, how he conducted himself, the things that he spoke about. Clearly, his interests were vast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just fly. Like, Charlie, why not?
It's dope to be knowledgeable and to just like
to be fly, be interested in cool things, make cool things as well. You get me? Make unlikely link ups with people. You know what I mean, Charlie?
Like you and him, it was not a surprise, but like there was also one thing that I think that blew all of our minds. It's just like
you didn't see it coming, but it made sense.
We didn't but it was just like that's just like, and it did a lot for us. It gave a lot of people hope. A lot of people. It gave a lot of people hope, and then just that gas. To continue doing everything that we're doing. It's like what you're doing is not in vain. It's not going to be like pushed to the sidelines. Is definitely worth something. But we're still talking about the album.
Let's go.
I want to ask you what was the creative process like, and also what was something that stuck with you while you were making it, like putting together the projects.
Wow,
it's all right.
It's crazy. What's the creative process like? Well, I think creative process was probably in 3 folds.
Yeah.
The first fold was just me tinkering while I'm in Accra, me and Mike Mills. So just recording. I don't know, early 2023 came around. I'm just recording. I'm in the studio randomly with Bien, with Toby and Tania. Just vibing. I'm like, yo, man, I'm super inspired. I want to create a super dope record that really like elevates where I am already. Goes. So then, I think the year before, or even actually after Medina to the universe, I loosely got back in touch with my friend Budo, who some of my earlier work, he did Safa, he did Kilimanjaro, Over and Under, all that was Budo. But we hadn't worked together since 2011, since Immigrant Chronicles. So he's gone on done dope stuff for Doja Cat, Marco Moore, different things. He's done his thing.
Yeah.
So then we reconnect and we're like, yo, let's just do something. So I called him like, look, I want to record an album and release it in the summer. 2023. He's like, let's do it.
He's always like ready.
He's like, let's do it. We had to work together for a while, but we have such a good rapport.
Yeah.
We're friends, you know, even though we hadn't spoken in a while. So, yeah, we planned a trip. I went to Seattle for about 3 weeks. We went to LA for about 2 weeks. And in that period, put the bulk of the work together.
Wow.
But then still came back to Ghana. If I record one or two things, we see if we want to add it to the pool.
Yeah.
So then, you know, a song like the one with King Promise I did in Ghana.
Yeah, Hang My
And
Boots.
then time passes, you have the album, it's mastered, everything. I'm working on artwork, but we haven't fully formed like the sort of the strategy and the business side. So then I'm still recording. And so then a song like Highlands, I'm in New York.
Yeah.
On the 36th floor apartment. And then so happens that Joey Turks from Super Jazz is also in New York. He tells me that he pulls up to the apartment with equipment and we record a song like Highlands.
Yeah.
And I send it to Budo. Budo's like, yo. And then he puts horns and then he 808s, whatever. So yeah, so that's the third phase, which is like refinement.
Right.
Or like allowing yourself the space to temper with what you thought was a finished product.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
get
when
to
you-
temper with it. And the final phase is at some point, you know, I can't cuss, right? This is
It's morning TV. I mean,
it's morning
It's
TV.
gonna be morning
It's
TV.
you know, it's either how do I put this? Either dookie or get off the pot, as they say.
Yeah.
So you get to the final phase is where it's like you have to be decisive. Like, yo, you had this project, it was done, it was mastered.
Yeah.
Okay, you made some changes. Now you have it. Now make sure that this is it. No more changes, bro. No more changes. Do that and then Vim. But the majority of the project was finished in those first 5 weeks.
Wow.
And everything else was tinkering and adding and refining as time went along. So I didn't end up releasing in summer 2023, but guess what? Your friend is saying spring or what is our dry season 2025 is just as good as the time.
Yeah, anyway, that's awesome. So the means the project has been in the making since 2023.
Yeah, and the majority of it was done by
By
2023.
So
Yeah, by like April 2023.
So what was the delay like? In
What's the
releasing
delay?
it? Yeah.
You know, I think I will probably repeat myself, but if a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it happen really? So the whole point is always trying to figure out what are the next moves beyond recording dope music. Is everything else, the creative strategy you see, whether it's like from our artwork to trailers, like what is the creative direction and strategy for this? What is the business situation? What's the marketing? What's this? Where's your money? You know, like how can you pay for this and that? It comes with that's what
A lot.
that's what business is. Business is not Jinamia vibes.
Jinamia vibes.
Business is actually strategy and intention. So that when you've created this beautiful thing that came from inspiration, that you don't leave it to chance. That you try and figure out, you know. And it's not easy. Like look, as much as I've been fortunate enough to be a full-time artist for like I don't know, over a
long time,
decade, like 15 years or something of sorts. I'm not gonna be out here pretending that it's easy. Making a living out of it is something I'm grateful for. When I reached that point, I remember when I reached the point of like, yo, okay, now I'm making a living. Whew. And then like, okay, now I'm able to pay for a lot of stuff. Whew. But it's like, it's still a cycle. It's an expensive business when you're an entrepreneur. Even when you have relationships, whether it's distribution, label deal, etc., it still comes with what's your investment in self and other things. So figuring all those things out, it takes time. It takes time because it's not magical. And those are one of the times in which you start to understand that money can buy time, but it can't. You can move faster sometimes. So yeah, so it's about that. So it's like, you know, I put out a letter on the eve of the release. And I think what I try to communicate with people is like, look, I've had to learn the lesson of patience. And the idea of divine timing, you know. And it's not easy, but you have to master yourself. It's like it's not an easy discipline.
Yeah. You don't do Junior Mia vibes. I mean, you said Junior Mia vibes, and it just Intina
Intina,
Junior
yeah.
Mia vibes. You know,
I
has
know,
been
but you're super
just-
yo, man,
yeah.
I was in the studio with Mike, and he started playing those chords or something. I think he had done most of the beats or something, or most of the. He was arranging. I think when I was entering the studio, he was in, and then it just started coming to me, man, and I just hopped in the booth, and so it's kind of choppy, partly because it was just what was coming to me,
Definitely.
you know, but it worked out. It's one of my favorite tracks on there. Yeah.
Now that you speak of that, I want to ask you, like I said, your specialty is just like dropping bars that sometimes we have to, you know, it takes us time. We have to go back and be like, oh, now I get what he said the last time.
Is that
Like,
my specialty though?
that's one of your specialties.
Yeah.
Let me just put it that way. That's one of your specialties. You know, there was a bar from I think Medina to the Universe that says that confusion is the currency of the day. Confusion is the currency of the day.
What did I say?
There's a line on there or something. Confusion, and there's also a new one. It said decency. There's a new one on this one. It says,
Decency is deceased.
decency is deceased. and I just want to ask you,
Yeah.
like, sometimes when you're putting your stuff together, does it just come to you, or do you sit and say, you know what, I just want to write something like really profound?
No, it just comes.
It just
to me.
comes to you.
I won't even lie. If it doesn't just come to me, I'm not putting it. Right now, I'm on the road of effortless. If it's not effortless, I'll move on
Wow.
really quickly, you know. And I think for me, I think the superpower for me is my ability to curate.
Yeah.
Right, so I can curate an idea, I can curate a piece of music, I can curate collaboration,
Yeah.
and I can curate my thoughts, you know. So a lot of thoughts come. You don't know how many verses I cut out of songs. It's beautiful.
Wow.
I fit cut verses like it's like they say kill your darlings is one of the things. I know how to kill my darlings. Like pew pew pew, get out. And then Buddha was really good at that too when we were working on this. He's like, yeah, it's dope, but yo, at this point it feels like the song needs to end, or it needs to go to another part.
Yeah.
So for me, it's actually a bigger superpower. The lyricism is the thing that, you know, the 100,000 hours, not 10,000.
Yeah.
Is what is so is that one is kind of like it's inbuilt.
Yeah.
It's like being, if you're a footballer, the conditioning is the conditioning aspect of it, the ability to run the field, the ability to have vision and know which routes to run. But the tactical aspect, the, you know, being good with the ball, etc., that's different. That's where that's where it takes
The movement and
that's
everything.
what separates the boys from the men. You know, I think for me that's my strongest suit. That's where I try to lean bigger into. So then I don't have to worry about how lyrical, how profound. No, because if you think about it, my lyrical approaches are like, there's a myriad of them.
Yeah.
There's a myriad of them. You might catch me on a song with Aries West Africa Time where it's like barren, like forget.
Heavy.
And then you might catch me on I Read on this album where it's like I'm running you through like the feeling, you know. Boys they hung on the streets, you know. I'm running you through that, you know. Then or Secondhand, which is, you know, a bit more on the oh my god, like, so I have different lyrical approaches, and all of them have to come from inspiration. So I've written enough, and I nurture ideas enough that I don't have to worry about, let me go there and do this so that the reaction people, no. Yeah, I mean, my thing there for be organic. For be organic, I have to feel as excited about it. You know, and embrace every new way that I can find. That's why Ginger Me advise people probably like it, because it's a new way. It's like, what is
it's
that?
Different,
hook?
It's
like,
different.
Is it a hook? What is it?
It's different.
You know, I mean, like, you know, a fellow rapper hit me and said, "Yo, man, they wish they had the muses had sent them that hook." And I'm like, me too. I don't know how I got sent.
But
I didn't know. But you have to be that person, because see, people don't realize, it's like, just because you know me to be an excellent lyricist, I hope that's what they say.
That's what I think. That's what everyone says.
Other people know me for different things. Like the super music heads who are not necessarily hip hop heads really know me for my musicality. They're like, yo, I really like the music is so good. Oh, it's so great. Like, somebody interviewed me and told me about Forget Them. It's like the first time they heard it, like, what is this? Like, hearing this high life thing with 808 drums. So they love that.
The blend.
You know, they love those kind of things. So yeah, so Charlie, look, you have to gather all the infinity stones and superpowers you can, bro. That's how it is, you know.
So that when you snap is
So that it just comes to you, so that you never have to force it. You never have to go to a studio and know it's not formulaic. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I feel you.
If I have an idea, then I'll go and execute it. But I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even the idea that I have, I might not know what is going to come out as. There are songs on the album that is one verse. Like My God is one verse sandwiched in between two operatic singing, you know, or I don't know, like Jinjamian Vibes is even verses. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's, you know,
but My God was unexpected. Like when it, like I promise you, like I listened to it. It's a dope song. It's like, but it was just unexpected. Like, you know, like You're No Longer My God, like talking about the angle that you took love from and everything. I was like, this is dope. This is different. And the fact that you were able to also like fit it in there, like with the transitions, you know, of the songs and everything. I absolutely love that. And then by the way, just so you know, I love Secondhand as well. I love Secondhand. Like I love the song. You
Secondhand. I really enjoyed making Secondhand. It was crazy. We probably had a 2-hour conversation just chopping it up. Me, Budo, and a guy called Benjamin that Budo had come in. Benjamin has a really good ear, so Budo brought him to the studio like, yo, come and listen to some songs we recorded. And so he listened to a bunch. We talked, and 2 hours in, I think Budo handed him a guitar, and then he started playing the the main guitar line. Oh man! And then I also started too many new things that come for me, brother man. It didn't make out of crazy, so maybe I'm borderline. But nothing's new under the sun, everything be second hand. Bend down boutique, that be second hand. I'm certain, man.
That's hard.
Thank you.
That was the last song I played upstairs before I came down here.
I love that song
really
too. But just be untamed, man, with the creativity. So me, I just enjoy it. Like I like the fact that I'm smiling when I'm remembering that, you know what I mean? So it's like, Charlie, what the time I'm having. You know?
But what was the most enjoyable session for you? And like and in addition to that as well, like what was the thing or the most challenging thing that you had to face and overcome during this recording or putting together the entire project?
The album as you hear it, I'll start from the second question. The album as you hear it currently is not the initial sequence of the album.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it went through a lot of like.
No. When it was initially finished, it was a whole different sequence.
Wow.
So I had to rejig it, and then I remember I knew that I had to rejig it because I was bringing in some new songs and I was taking something out.
Okay.
And it was just like weighing down on me because I was like, I don't want to listen to the music now. So it took me like 2 months not to listen to it. And one day, a burst of inspiration. Before even listening to the music, it's like a puzzle piece. Like, you know, it's like you have had the puzzle pieces, and I just started doing this.
So like you had a mental image.
I did this, and I sent it to Budo. I think this is track list. What do you think? He's like, perfect. So it wasn't a challenge in the sense of doing it. The challenge was knowing that I wasn't going to do it when I wasn't in the space to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to have that wisdom. It's some kind of creative wisdom that comes with experience. Like, yo, I'm not in a space where I'll do it properly. It will be a chore and I'll be forcing it. No, I don't want to deal with this because the album was already finished.
Yeah.
I'll wait. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
I feel you.
So for me, it's not necessarily that it's difficult. I just chose that this whole thing was going to be an effortless thing. So anything that did not feel effortless, miss me with it. I wasn't going to do that. What was most enjoyable? Man, it was a lot of them were. I mean, I won't even lie. I definitely enjoyed making I Read because I like making tracks that feel like the centerpiece of innovation of a thing. So I'm like, okay, this one feels like, okay, I'm going to be that. Nah. It's familiar, but I didn't hear this one before. You can't tell me you know this song before. Where do you know it from? Have you heard Horns doing like that? Brazon? Have you? No. I want to be that. I felt excited about that. So it was definitely very enjoyable. I think Secondhand too, as I just said, just came from a super peaceful session, vibes, got it done. I love I love the session with Daku and Bien. We're all together.
See, when we're done with this conversation, I would like you to speak to my producer. So I told him, bro, if you haven't listened to the album, at least go and listen to the song with Daku and Bien.
One of Darko's best
I
verses.
loved it. That's exactly what I said to him. I said Darko like was amazing on this song. Like Kosti, he's in the production room right now. He's in my ear right now because I was telling him, I was like, bro, you need to listen to that song. Like you need to listen to that and listen to the project. You know,
that was a great session.
Yeah, I think that is an amazing.
That was a great session. I started with Bien. We were working on another song. Darko came. And you know, Darko had you see, sometimes you have to listen to the universal. And I think Darko has listened to the universe. For some reason, at some point, like for a few months, Darko hits me up like, it would be like, big bro, when I for come house. Like he did that for like a few months, like every now and then, trying to make I know when I for come out. So it's like, I don't know what the universe was telling him, but he was heeding to it. So one day I was like, yo, will you come this session? And he came through, and it was just like, and he had a very like, he's an incredibly creative guy, and he also had a very, what do you call it, spirit? Like he was cool with the feedback I'll give him about certain things, you know. But yeah, he's brilliant. I think that's one of his best verses, especially in the last couple of years. Like he killed it. I'm like, what are you doing? This is so mad.
I love
the
song.
And shout outs to Bien too, man. He killed it. Bien came to Ghana, and he just soaked in the West African vibe. So it's like, it still feels like him and his Southie soul thing, but it feels like something else too. And I really love that so that was a dope session too. That was one of the few sessions that, to be honest, there were quite a number of people in the room. I usually don't do sessions with too many people in the room. But there was a number of people, but nobody felt like they were a distraction. Everything was cool. It was lively.
But is that a reason to you, like not wanting to have your sessions like privately, or like not have like too many people?
My spirit, my creative spirit is not extroverted, nor is it like to be tainted with too much energies in there. You can't there's too many energies, it can mess something up. It can complicate or corrupt something beautiful in there. You know what I mean? So I like the idea of creating solo even when I'm with people, right? So it's like, and the more people you have, unfortunately, the more it can corrupt the vibes.
It just tells me that you're big on energy, and like you can feed into and feel other people's.
I try to be an energy creator too. That's one of the things. And so if I don't want to be put in a situation where I can't curate that, because then it can, if it goes left, the music you hear will go left.
It also explains why you have the kind of features that you have, because I feel like you feel like there has to be a certain, like, relatability, or you need to be able to feel them in a certain way for you to want to work with them in the first place.
I mean, to a certain degree, we don't have to be besties to work together, but we have to have alignment.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And usually that's what I have, and with different kind of personalities. Some are chatty, some are less chatty. But once we have alignment, we'll make beautiful music. We don't have to be, it doesn't always have to be like, oh, Charlie, let's talk about life and the mysteries. No. Guy.
I mean, because a lot of people see you as this like really intellectual and knowledgeable person who has certain like, niche interests. I mean, obviously you're well read, like, widely and well read, and people view you in that light. So I think it's not very surprising that they would want to engage you on that level, or what do you think about that?
The majority of my knowledge is not being well read, it's being well lived. It's like the kind of life that I know, that what I've learned from life is actually mad. You don't gain a lot of those things by being well read, by simply being well read. Being well read is maybe being well read in life, getting a lot of things. There's I have conversations with some terrific people, some amazing people all over the world, and I get so much from that. So it's a lot of lived experience. When people think of lived experience, they only think of hardship. No, it's not just hardship that's lived experience. Lived experience is anything and many things. Some you can and I'm out here going around the world and just imbibing information and imbibing experiences and being able to translate those quickly from my brain to my tongue, because I have such a what do you call it? It's such a big pool of it. More than the average person. I'm just being honest. It's not an ego. It's not whatever. It's a great privilege that it's just a very wide scope of experience in the world, from from pounding the pavements, traversing different terrains, interacting with like a crazy myriad and diversity of people. Like, it's mad. And that for me is where a lot of the knowledge starts to make sense.
I'm going to delve into the part about what you've learned, but like from your economics background and the music thing. But there was one thing that you pointed out earlier when I said that your specialty, I mean, which is one of your specialties, but when I said that it was your specialty. Now I want to know what you think about, or how you feel about that tag as being known as the conscious rapper. Like, how do you feel about it? And then does it get to you at times, or is it something that you're like just chill about?
I mean, I would not want to be known as a stupid rapper. So, I mean, how can it get to me if I am seen as conscious? I think how you're explaining it is people try to pigeonhole and make it look like some uncool thing. This thing. No. That's not how life is. All my favorite musicians in history, from the Makebas to the Marleys to the Lawrence to the Fellas to the Andres, they are all what you would then call conscious because they are very much they know how to process life and the world and philosophy and ideology, and they have a viewpoint of life that is not simply just going along or popping champagne. Some of the people who have had the most money but are more drawn to culture, and to thinking, to ideology, to what they support in life. So no, of course, I have no qualms about that. Even when people want to attach some kind of negative limiting thing, no, I'd rather be that. I'd never want to be known as a stupid. What was the opposite of conscious? Like unconscious. Like it does not bother me. I think it's terrific. I come from a tradition of the Yasin Beys, the Silos, the Black Thoughts, the people who the thoughtful people have shaped this world. It is the conscious people are the ones who, for good or for bad. Because there are some people who are consciously bad. You understand? So if you want to be subconscious or unconscious, continue. But those of us who have the intentionality and are able, whatever, I mean, it helps you to live a full life. How do you, if you're not able to sit down by yourself and have introspection and have and think through life, then every day you're just sheep. You're just going along. Going along with anything that comes your way.
Stand for
today
something.
Today, if they say that sheep poo is the cool thing, you go and eat. Because that is what you have. You can't create. You can't tap into consciousness to have a mind of your own. So it's not an insult. It's not what the people who say
make it out to
be whatever. No, it's a great thing. I accept it. If anything at all, I look at my limitations and try to see how I can be better. I look at my limitations and say, Charlie, I'll be weak for this place. I need more discipline here. That's what I look at. So I can't worry about a positive attribute.
Okay, but that being said, it's still on experiences and like your worldview, and then you bringing all of that into your music. Family life. I talked about family, and I talked about from a past point of view, but family life now. You are a father. Like we know that you have a kid. How does that also kind of affect your music? How do you bring that experience, that the newness of it into your music?
I think being a father has been probably one of the most transformational aspects of my life, of my adult life. It really shapes you. You're responsible for a whole other human being, not just yourself. That's a very different thing. Being a parent, being responsible for a whole other human being, and being able to put their needs in front of yours. If you are not selfless, you learn. You'll be forced to. Because whether it's school fees, homework,
you have to show
school
up.
projects, midterms, clothes, whatever, you will learn. But it's great. So, for instance, I think I've developed better creative habits, partly being a father. I'm not the person that's going to be in all-night studio. Nah, give me 10 a.m., 6 p.m., and then let's go. Last, 8 if we're lucky. I'm going back home because father money has to, appear.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's great. It actually has given me, it's giving me a different balance with things.
Yeah.
If I travel, if I didn't have a child, if I travel, I do have my mom and my dad, whatever. If I travel, but the idea that staying in touch with home is so important because you have a child that you have to check up on.
Yeah.
You have to be better with your time. It's not your time; it's not just yours. So yeah, no, it's profoundly informed me beyond the content of being a father, which is, when you're raising a child, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
You think you're teaching them, you're learning a lot. And that one too, that's an experience, that's a lived experience that is irreplaceable, especially if you're a present parent,
Right.
which I am. So yeah.
I don't know, but that's just like, I haven't really heard anyone talk about it, fatherhood or just being a parent in that way, where it's like you are learning, because the role of a parent is to raise their kids, teach them the way that they should go. But like you see it from this whole other point of view where it's like you're learning a lot about yourself through them, through just like having them and then just being the head and then directing them and all of that. So I think that is very that is something to think about and like mull over. But let's take it back to the economy before we even like wrap up and with everything else. You having an economics background and in music, right? Like I said,
you said in music or in being in music?
And being in music.
Okay,
Yeah, and being in music. A lot of, I see a lot of musicians being academicians, or academics on the side, but they don't really like let that shine. How did you transition from, because economics is not an easy thing. I think that it's not an easy course.
Nothing is easy.
Yes, exactly. But I think it takes a lot. So what is that relationship like? You having that background or you transitioning from that, and just how do you even apply it to the business of your music? And all.
Well, I mean, there's rarely useless knowledge, rarely, if ever.
Yeah.
There might be nothing else. Just economics, for instance, allowed me, when people think of economics, they think of finance, they think of whatever. No, a lot of economics has to do with how our society is arranged. When you're talking about all these, it's not just simple terms of supply and demand. It's got to do with human psyche. What happens when price goes low? It's got to do with studying humankind. That's why there's micro and macroeconomics. Micro is zooming in on that kind of smaller scale thing. Macro is looking at the aerial view. So yes, being in a study like that definitely informed me. The same way if I did archaeology, it would have given me a perspective on the world we live in. So yeah, I think that has definitely informed me. It's probably also empowered me in the sense of when I have to be forced to put on my entrepreneur hat and thinking about certain things, that I have the tools to be able to critically look at things.
Yeah.
Because I've exercised the muscle. You don't need to have been an economics major to have the tools, but you need to have exercised the muscle. So people like Jay-Z never did economics, but he knows it very well. He's exercised the muscle over the years.
Yeah.
From the beginning, exercise it, learn, exercise. Or Nas, for that matter, who's been incredibly successful as an entrepreneur, quietly doing well.
Yeah, really low key.
Creating opportunities that people like myself now have come to benefit from.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So of course, the formal study definitely helped me, but it's not transformational just because you have an economics degree. It's just maybe equip me with the skills to be able to look at things. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that we should be expecting, like after the release of the album, like videos?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get it to 1 billion streams, so that's all we need to expect.
Project 1 billion streams,
Project
like for
1
a year.
billion,
Project
bro,
1
that's
billion
all I
streams. We're
want.
going to hashtag that.
Yeah,
as
Project
well.
1 billion.
1
That's
billion.
all I want. So, and I know it's not. I don't pretend like it's cocoa. So, I mean, I'm joking, but I'm serious. I'm serious, but I'm joking. Which one? I'm joking, but I'm serious.
Serious, yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
So because like I don't, we obviously don't create with that in mind, but I think sometimes to validate the path, the new road, it requires that other aspect of that success to really validate it. You know need, but you need.
Yeah. Really
So I say it as I said that only because to answer your question, to say that look, I'm very preoccupied with being as creative with marketing and other things.
Yeah.
So I'm not even about to be like, oh yeah, there's a remix. No. Right now, tunnel vision, focus on rolling out strategy, everything, being as creative as possible, and to make sure that this thing sees the light that it deserves.
Yeah.
So that'd be the road I'd day on.
Yeah.
You understand? So
Yeah.
expect dopeness, man. I want this to be one of the dopest rollouts, right?
Yeah.
And I want it to stretch it out as long as possible.
Okay.
Project 1 billion.
Yeah, project 1 billion, guys. Okay, you heard it here first. Project 1 billion. Let's get.
But I won't talk about it again.
But we will talk about that for you.
Because your friend is saying again is for no.
We'll still talk about it though. But speaking of 1 billion streams and just focusing on the marketing bit, tech is playing a really huge part in music these days, like with the streaming, the TikToks and whatnot. Did that factor into your creative process or putting the music together? Did that factor in your marketing and all of that?
It definitely factors into marketing. And if you are known for being different, or one of your selling points is being different, then there's the challenge to like, how do you utilize the tools of today but do things differently? You're not going to see me do a chance challenge. Like, where does that make sense?
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. I can fool around and do something if the spirit moves me. Like, if literally like one day, let's say Medium Boys Day, and then something happened organically, cool. But it would be out of sorts trying to see me copy something like that. Yeah. But that said, there's a lot to be learned from all of that stuff. Yeah. Right? There's a lot that I'm on the clock app like nobody's business. I just study that thing because I'm like, there's so much creativity that I'm like, this is hard. Okay. I'll be on the clock app like hard body. Some older people are just like, I'll be on the clock app, man. And I don't, not as much as Twitter, but like when I go there, I rabbit hole for like an hour or something and dip. Because I'm probably not the demographic that can be there for so hella long. But I did a rabbit hole inside. I'm finding where Dorothy. Charlie, I did inside the rabbit hole, bro. And so it does inform. It does inform you. There's so much to learn. You know what I mean? There's so much to learn. You learn about being pithy from this new world. Yeah. Right. So you might do something dope, and you want to do like this long 3-minute video. It's like the trailer, right? When we're cutting down the trailer, then it was a longer trailer. I'm like, but let's look at the audience. Yeah. Let's cut it down.
Factor in people's attention span these days and everything.
Yeah. You can evolve without what is seen as compromise. Right. Yeah. If you evolve, is that kind of compromise that doesn't feel like compromise. Compromise is like, when we hear compromise, a lot of times we think of sacrificing something core or good about it just because people don't like this. No. You can evolve. You can learn and study and evolve. Yeah. Because once again, like I said, if you're different, you have to find a hackle. Yeah. Because it doesn't. The world is not, bro. Shout out to my bro, Promise. I love him. Promise can release every song and do a dance challenge. It fits him because he's a resembled dancer. You see him. He would do like. You understand? And it looks cool. Yeah. Me, Kwame Ahmed, for the way. You understand? I like watching it, but you wouldn't look at me imagine me being a tryhard doing that. I like choreography. I mean, you might see me in that. I mean, the manifestivities where I'm with, there's all sorts of choreographed movements and etc. But I'm not the most dancer. No, we're not doing that. Yeah, so short, long answer. I'm giving you long answers today. My bad. I was talking about being pithy. Is that definitely informed by the times because Charlie, perennial students. That's the only way to succeed at this. Perennial students creatively, perennial students strategically about things. You know, I'm with what's up. I know what's good.
Yeah.
You know,
and we see that, you know, it reflects in everything that you do. How many videos are we getting from this album?
Who knows, man? Who knows? Videos are expensive, and but it's a content game now too. It's like I want to do cool stuff without thinking of any kind of formulaic way.
Yeah, but can you give us an exclusive? Anything like
an exclusive?
Yeah,
1 billion project is not exclusive enough.
No, it's exclusive, but like
what else do you want?
I need something else. Like
you need something
else. Yeah. Something that we can break out to just kickstart that whole like project 1 billion views. Yeah.
Okay, I just came up with this, so consider it a now exclusive.
Yes.
I don't remember the last time or if I've ever done a remix, but I'm almost feel like the spirits are telling me that I need to do a remix or two on this project. Yeah. That's what the creative spirits are telling me. Okay. So let's see, let's see what picks up and what calls for that. It would be dope to see a remix or two off of this album. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that from you before, so
that's an exclusive. So we want to wrap up. You know, I think that has been a very riveting conversation. I have learned a lot about your worldview, you know, your perspective, the creative process, and all of that. So I'm being forced to ask this question.
No, don't worry. What's the name of your producer?
Kosti. He's right there. Yes.
If this question is not good, I will diss you on air live. Kosti.
So my producer wants me to ask you that, like I said, God MC was one of the periods that.
Producer, I'm stopping this question right now because, you know, this is Charlie. New ROAD and Guava Trees is enough, bro. Producer, don't be lazy. Kosti, that was not cool. That was Frosty.
Even he is loving the bars. So
So I have vetoed his question.
It has been barred. The question has been barred, like but the bars are like barred. But before we go, is there any this is a personal question. Is there any book or movie that you're reading currently that you would like to share, so some of us can?
You said I'm reading or watching,
or have read, or a movie you're watching or have watched that you would recommend.
You should check out Flews on the album. You should check out the book he wrote, Acid for the Children. For the children.
Okay.
Yeah, you should check out Tanasi Coates The Message.
Okay.
Film wise, what have I seen recently that's blown me away? I still like going to old films sometimes.
Wow.
I still watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind like nobody's business.
That movie too.
Netflix is filled with a lot of stuff. They're not paying me, but I'm saying it for free.
Okay.
So I definitely watch a lot of things on TV. You know, I was definitely a Wire, Breaking Bad, and Game of Thrones buff. So man, Charlie, I draw inspiration from a lot of dopeness everywhere. Shout out to all my fashion friends as well. Outcomes Fest, The Revival. I draw inspiration from a lot of people who are just creative. So big up to everybody that is creative, that is inspiring man them. But I never hesitate to share them when on IG story or one of them things.
Speaking of, just yesterday we had Noche in the building with us.
Hey, Meja.
Noche was with us, and I think I've seen your video online as well. You dancing to his music.
I've been evangelizing for him.
Yeah, I think you did the same for R.D.J as well. And it's something that we really love to see, and we're excited.
The music there is beautiful for sure. And also organically, it's just not by force. You can support quietly, you can support loudly, whatever feels organic. But shout out to all those guys. I really want nothing but great success, and it has nothing to do with any kind of agenda. But that Mijo song is brilliant. If he's ready, I'll curate a version 2.0 for him. Not with me on it. No, I'll just curate it
for him
in the background. And I know what a 2.0 could look like.
Noche, this one is for you. So reach out.
I know what a 2.0 would look like. One or two tweaks. Yeah,
definitely. I think I really have loved having you in the studio, and I'm sure our viewers
Thank you, man.
would also enjoy and appreciate this conversation, with
And
you
sorry
as well.
for the cuss words every now and then.
You're absolutely pardoned.
My tongue can be very filthy off the record, I'm cleaner on record than I am in real life.
Yeah, and Kosti wants to shout you out, by the way. My
Kosti.
producer. Yeah. Maybe you should have a tete-a-tete after this.
Yeah. No, Kosti, you can, having a tete-a-tete with me is costly.
Boss, but yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for honoring
bro.
the invitation, for coming. It's always exciting to see you, to have a...
And I can't wait to hear more from you, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
You're very gifted. Never forget. And, Charlie, just step for top every time, man.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you for coming through.
All right, my brother.
Thank you for coming
About
through.
to run before traffic catches
Exactly, guys. This has been Culture Daily with me, Kojo Trip. It's exciting. I told you it was going to be an exciting conversation, and I think that this has lived up to that promise. We'll be back on your screens tomorrow with some more, fun stuff, entertainment, edutainment, whatever you want to call it. But this has been the Culture Daily Show. Keep it locked on 3 Music TV. Do not touch your dial, and we are out.
Culture Daily was brought to you by Telecel.